This is a story about hypnosis. One time, it was the first time I ever saw hypnosis. I used to go to this bar, and they would have entertainment. They couldn't afford very much entertainment, so it would be like maybe a comedian or like a musician that had like one of those electronic drum machines, and so it'd just be like one guy that would be the musician. And but one time they brought in a hypnotist, and I found this guy so fascinating that I actually went like every night. So I think I must have seen his show four or five, 4 or 5 times. And so I don't know if you know anything about hypnotism. I think if you've never seen it, you should definitely go see hypnotism. It's absolutely fascinating and often funny. These stage hypnotists are almost always try to make it funny, so the audience will laugh at people making fools out of themselves. It used to be. I did some research about hypnotism, and I found out it was popularized by a French physician named Mesmer, and that's why, like if you go back to the 19th century, it's called mesmerism. And what Mesmer imagined, which we no longer really believe, but what Mesmer thought was that the mesmerist had power, like I don't know, sort of spiritual, psychological power, and he could create these kind of powerful vibrations that would travel through the ether. He believed that there was this mysterious invisible substance called ether between everything. The whole universe is full of ether, and that's why sometimes you will see like in old cartoons there'll be like a wizard, and the wizard will be going like this, and what he's doing is he's massaging the ether in order to create a spell, put somebody under a spell. Or if you've seen old vampire movies, they'll do that. I call it the raccoon lighting, where there's just a band of light over the eyes, and it's like if you do this, it's like the hands are the mesmeric organs, but the eyes, the powerful eyes of the mesmerist, are transmitting these powerful mesmeric vibrations. And you'll see the vampire. He'll like stare at the woman with his eyes, and she'll go. She has no will of her own. And she'll kind of stagger toward him, and he'll bite her on the neck. Well, all of that is mesmerism, but now we think hypnosis is really driven not at all by the power of the hypnotist. It's actually it's the power of suggestion. The people that are really great at being hypnotized, they are very good at. You can suggest things. They're very suggestible. They have wonderful imaginations, and they can just sort of throw themselves into whatever the hypnotist suggests. So if you watch a stage of hypnotist, you'll probably see what I saw, which was the hypnotist. He'll do something really simple, like look at this light and relax, and you feel great, and close your eyes and go to sleep. And there always will be, volunteers who want to do this, and there'll also be a few people who don't even volunteer. They just sort of automatically do it, and they just go to sleep. And it's fascinating to watch how quickly this can happen. And the hypnotist will herd all these sleeping people up on stage. And the one night there was a whole table full of cops. They were off-duty cops, and one of these cops, man, he didn't volunteer or anything. He just put his head down, and man, he was out. And all the other cops are going, "Hey, look at this dude! Hey, man, he's out. Take him, man, take him." And so the hypnotist comes and he gets him. And what I had noticed is that it seemed to me anyway, that the people that were the most just suggestible, that were really the best at hypnotism, were these kinds of people who didn't really volunteer, who just sort of got into it almost unconsciously. So he gets them all up there, and he always, the beginning of the act is what I call weeding the garden, and he'll give them some kind of real pleasant suggestion. They're on a beach and the sun is shining and it's breezy, and it's just beautiful and wonderful. And then he'll turn it, he'll make it a little more negative, a little more painful. And he'll say, oh, that sun, it's really hot. Oh, yeah, it's getting really hot. Now it's 90 degrees. Oh, man, I think it's 100 degrees. Oh, man, that is hot. It's hot, hot, hot. And, the people they'll start undressing. They'll, oh, my God, and you can see that some people are kind of shy and they're like hot, but they're not going to unbutton their shirts, especially not the women. But some people, and like there was this one woman, man, she's got her whole shirt off. She's down to her bra. And she's ready to take the bra off, and he stops her. He doesn't want to get in trouble. And the cop was the same way. The cop was just really perfectly willing to strip down. And so he gets rid of all the people that don't really like the negative suggestions, the painful suggestions. You can see that, they'll kind of do it. Like there's a fly crawling up your nose, and they'll kind of go, oh, that's not good. But some people are like, oh my God, you think they're going to rip their nose open trying to get that fly out of there. So that's the people he wants. He wants those highly suggestible people. So by the end, he got down to just two people, and it was the woman that had just about removed her brassiere, and it was the cop. And they have demonstrated again and again that boy, any kind of suggestion that he makes, no matter how ludicrous, they will do it. And the woman, he told her to believe that she was her favorite singer, which turned out to be Bette Midler. I don't know if you remember that song, Friends. You got to have friends. And she, a cappella, sang You Got to Have Friends. And it was just wonderful. The beauty of that song, the yearning of that song. I mean, she's this kind of pudgy, shy sort of woman, kind of a wallflower. And I mean, she had that place in tears. I mean, it was like a miracle. I mean, who could believe that she could sing as well as that? Anyway, so then he tells her to go to sleep, and she just drops her head. And he goes to the cop. And the thing that he wanted with the cop, he says, I want you to give a speech, and I want you to give a speech on the evils of alcoholism. But the thing is, you're going to say a few words, and you're going to be drunk. And then if you say one more word, you're going to be twice as drunk. And the next word, you will be 4 times as drunk. You will get twice as drunk with every subsequent word. And I'm thinking, well, that's what we call a geometrical progression. I mean, that's like a terrifying idea. I mean, it's twice as much, and then 4 times as much, and then 8 times as much, and then 16, and then 32. So it'd be like if you said an entire sentence, you would have drunk 32 shots or something. That wouldn't just make you drunk. That would kill you. Anyway, the cop, he starts up and he goes, kids, he's been told he's like in high school, and he's giving a speech to a bunch of high school students, and he says, kids, now you shouldn't drink. Drinking, it's bad for you, and and it's really bad for you. And all of a sudden, he just collapses to the floor, just bang like that, and he's like in the fetal position, and we're all, on the table full of his friends, and we're all like, what the hell, And the hypnotist is scared, and we're kind of absorbing his fears, like, oh my God, what's the guy's having a psychotic episode or something? And the hypnotist goes to him and tries to say something to him, and all of a sudden the guy flings up his hands and he goes, Daddy, 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 don't hit me. And it was like, I don't know what, he reverted to like 5, 6 years old. And hypnotist, he gets him out of it, and puts him to sleep. But it was like for just a moment there, we saw a terrifying glimpse of what his childhood had been like.